Entitled mum thinks their family's rules apply to everyone. Last week I was travelling for work. It had been a long 2 days of meetings and I was exhausted. I had just arrived at the airport for my evening cross-country flight home when I got the dreaded text from the airline saying my flight was delayed 2 hours due to mechanical problems. I decided to pass the time by getting something to eat. I found an airport restaurant and sat down to order. I ordered my food and pulled my phone out of my bag to catch up on an email and to browse the web while waiting for my food to arrive. While I was waiting, a family with a mum, dad, little girl about 5 years old, and a middle school-aged looking boy sat at a table near me. I didn't pay them much attention as I was looking at emails on my phone. But then I hear the little girl exclaim in a rather loud voice,
"Look, Mom, that lady's on her phone at the table."
I then hear the mother reply,
"Yes, she shouldn't be doing that. It is rude to have a phone at the table."
I glance over and the mother says to me,
"We have a rule that no phones are allowed at the table."
My first reaction was to say something snarky as exhaustion was definitely getting the better of me. But then I thought better of it and decided to be polite. I looked at the little girl and said,
"We have the same rule in my family, but since I'm here alone, I'm not being rude to anybody by looking at my phone now."
At this point, the son looks like he wants to crawl under the table from embarrassment, and the dad is trying to hand the mum a menu and says, "It's okay, let's just order." I think that will be the end of it, but no. The mum says,
"Obviously you have a family, so you should know how important it is to follow rules. I would appreciate it if you would put away your phone,"
in a tone that a parent would use on a petulant teenager. The little girl chimes in and says,
"Yeah, you have to put your phone away. My brother can't have his phone at the table, so you can't either."
I look at the little girl and say in as sweet a tone as I can muster, "Well, the great thing about being a grown-up is that I can do whatever I want. So now I'm going to keep looking at my phone," and turn back to my email. The mother sighs loudly. The teen looks even more embarrassed, and the dad again tries to get the mum to just order and leave me alone. The mum calls the waiter over and asks to be reseated. He grudgingly moves them to a different table. My food arrives, and I eat in peace, enjoying browsing Reddit. Our next story was posted by user _milkbone_, titled, "Entitled mother thinks that I'm using a stolen credit card at Petco and goes insane when I talk back to her and then demands I hand over the card." Car star, entitled mother, you know who it is, GK, the entitled mother's kid, who didn't say anything, so I'm assuming, GK, good kid. Cashier, the bystander to my encounter at Petco. Mum, my own tragic mother. Maggie, my best friend I ever had. And a dog, just for reference. So, backstory. This happened about 5 years ago when I was 15. It is necessary to know that this was before I had a phone or a credit card, or a bank account, or anything adult-like at all. I did, however, have my driver's permit. Not a license, but close enough. At the time, my dog Maggie was dying of liver cancer and was laid to rest several months after this event occurred. But in the meantime, a dog has still got to eat, right? Both of my parents were out of town, and my brother was in school at his university, so I was thoroughly alone and responsible for the dog and the house. My mum had left me with her credit card, trusting me not to be an idiot with it, and instead only use it in dire situations. So, set the scene. A few days into my solitude, I noticed that Maggie was running out of dog food, the dry kibble-like stuff. I called my mum and she said that I could take the extra car, an old beat-up Toyota from who knows when, to Petco to get some more, and of course to use her credit card. So I scratched Maggie on the head, told her to be good, and headed to Petco. Upon arrival, I walked to the dog food aisle with no problems. It was then I saw the only amount of dog food they had that was the same brand we always got was the 40-pound bag. I picked it up, hoisted it into my basket with an embarrassing amount of effort, and went to check out. I arrived at the line just before the woman and her kids got there. The woman huffed something about being in a rush, but I didn't think much of it. I only had one item. This woman, as I would soon discover, was to be our lovely entitled mother. Now, those of you who have shopped for dog food know that sometimes it can be expensive, and this brand happened to be just that. When the cashier scanned it and requested I pay, I inserted the credit card, it beeped, and then asked me to sign. The bag was just over the price where I wouldn't had to sign for it. That's when I panicked. I had never used a credit card before. I know it is silly, but I wasn't sure if I was allowed to sign for it or not. I thought that might be illegal, and this is where the drama begins. Hi, this is my mom's credit card. Am I allowed to sign for it? I ask the cashier, and they say, I don't know. That's something you'll have to ask the bank about. Oh, sorry, just never done this before. And then, this is when the entitled mother decides that it has become her business.
You know, you probably shouldn't be shopping with a stolen credit card.
It's my mum, so it's alright.
Then your mother isn't being responsible. She should keep things like that away from kids. Does she even know that you're here?
Well, yes.
My children would never steal my credit card. Neither would they lie to an adult.
She gestures to her kid, who looks miserable, as if he knows what's about to happen. This is the point where I get confused. Lying? I was accused of lying? I wasn't even sure what she thought I was lying about. I'm not lying. She flips.
Don't talk back to me, you little brat. You talk back to me when you're shopping with a stolen credit card?
Oh, yes, because the first thing I do with a stolen credit card is buy a 40-pound bag of dog food. She seems to be less confident in her claim now, but entitled mothers never back down without a fight.
Did your parents not teach you any respect? Here you are yelling and screaming at me when all I've done is voice my opinion.
Voice your opinion? You're saying I stole a credit card. She was clearly not used to talking with teens who have a mind of their own.
You little shit! Don't talk back to me. Give me that credit card so I can return it to its rightful owner.
No! I need to buy this dog food. The cashier finally steps in. Just sign for the bag, kid. Entitled mother, now feeling teened up on, says,
Don't let him buy that. It is a stolen card. He is a criminal.
I still find it funny that she didn't ever call the police, despite calling me a criminal. It makes me think that she was arguing only for the sake of not being wrong. I pay sign for the bag, get my receipt, and head for the car. The entitled mother is still blabbering on about theft and the law. She starts insulting me, calling me the typical entitled mother things.
Brat, disrespectful shit, immature little boy.
Then she starts insulting my parents, calling them
swine, barbaric, irresponsible, not knowing how to raise a kid.
Out of pure curiosity, I wait in my car to see what she does after checking out. She just walks to her car with her kid, sees me, raises both hands, promptly flips me off, and yes, very mature indeed. Clearly, she was embarrassed, but didn't want to admit to being wrong. Thank you for reading. This is my first post here. I know it wasn't too intense, but I still laugh about it to this day, so I figured I would share. Our next story was posted by user Sucked, titled, Entitled Mum Demands I Turn Down the Volume on My Car Engine, then calls the cops. EM is entitled mother. So I drive a 1994 Toyota Supra, and the engine can get quite loud if I floor it after third gear. I was driving home, and I got onto the highway, and I immediately speed off because there were almost no cars for a good distance. Eventually, I come to a bottleneck in the highway and slow down. I downshifted, and the engine made a loud backfire and a growl as I came to a halt. The woman next to me rolled her window down.
Can't you make that racket a little quieter? My child is sleeping.
I apologize, but the engine is always this loud. I'll drive off once the traffic clears anyways.
Isn't this illegal? Your engine is too loud. I bet you don't even have the car inspected.
Note, traffic is moving and she's refusing to lose me. That's not your business and everything I'm doing is legal. Please leave me alone. I roll up my window and continue on my way home. I take my exit, and I see in my rearview mirror that she's following me. I just think she takes the same exit since it's going into Richmond. so it's very likely she lives there. But she follows me all the way to my condo. I am very ticked and concerned now that she knows where I live.
That car is not allowed in the state of Virginia. I just googled it. It's from Japan and it's illegal.
She seems to be proud of herself for finding information on the model of my car. Why does that matter? Why do you care? Get out of my driveway, you crazy bitch! I approached her car.
Nah, oi, don't get any closer.
She rolls up her window and dials the police and claims she's being assaulted. At this point, I give up. I flip her off and I go into my house. I have CCTV by my garage anyways, so it doesn't matter. I am innocent and I have proof. She stands on my porch and peers into the window by my front door. 5 minutes later, the police are at my door demanding to speak with me. The woman whipped up some tears and playing defenseless hiding behind the cops. I explained what happened and the cops further investigated. He doesn't believe me at all. That's when I show the CCTV footage to him from my phone. The mum begins to panic. Immediately, she is put into handcuffs for trespassing and violation of privacy. Her son is taken away by the father, who appears a few minutes later. Okay, I was enjoying that. What happened at the end there? Our next story was posted by user PepsiMan42069, titled, Homophobic Karen wants Trump to deport me and my boyfriend. This happened about 2 years ago, so sorry if I forgot some of the story. Also, I'm on mobile. Me and my boyfriend had decided to go out to eat that day. We ended up going to Wendy's. Less than 2 minutes go by, and a morbidly obese woman walks in with her husband and 2 kids. Enter entitled mum. Her entitled kid was acting obnoxious, screaming and running around the Wendy's. Her other kid was really quiet and just sat in his seat. Entitled kid spots us and yells,
Are those 2 boys dating? Ew!
This seems to catch the attention of Karen. Honey, stay away from those 2 men. They might try to molest you. I turned around and told her, that's extremely rude, right? She went into a rant about how she's trying to protect her baby from dirty pedophiles like us. An elderly couple in the booth across from us just told her to shut the hell up. She screamed at the top of her lungs, but I couldn't make out what she was saying. All I heard was quiet kids saying, Mommy, can we please go home now? Karen ignored him, and he started to cry a little. Karen turned to us and said,
You filthy sinning Mexicans! Trump should deport fags like you back to Mexico.
We're not even Mexican. I was at a loss for words. My boyfriend stepped in and said, Woman, can we just eat our damn food? An employee came over and said, Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. The dad sounded like he was about to cry too. He just yelled at Karen,
This is why I can't take you anywhere! You just can't let people eat their freaking food!
He stormed out, and Karen started banshee screaming while grabbing her 2 kids crying. Moral of the story, just let people eat their food. Our next story was posted by user Dabbles in Irony, titled, Entitled Mother Accidentally Nearly Kills Her Own Child to Spite Me for Not Giving Him Chocolate. This happened a week ago. I've just gotten over the shock and finishing my company statements. I work part-time in a chocolate shop, and we give out samples to customers. On this particular day, the sample contained a hazelnut praline. Here in the UK, there's been a massive rise in allergen awareness, so we're all very well trained in advising customers. I'm working on my own in the store on a very quiet day. Our cast are Entitled Mother, Annoying Son, and me, Dabbles in Irony. Entitled Mother and Annoying Son walk into my store. I say, Hi, can I offer you a chocolate? It's a praline, so it contains hazelnut and milk. The entitled mother takes the chocolate. I'll have one, but my son is allergic to nuts. Is there anything he can try? Now, even though it's not company policy, my store keeps an open box of plain dark chocolate to give to people with allergies because we like to be nice. Oh, I do have to warn you that everything may contain traces of nuts, but I do have some chocolate he could try with no nuts in the recipe, if you agree. She agrees, and I get the chocolate out. So far, so good. She actually comes across as quite nice. He greedily grabs 2 chocolates, and she picks up one as well. I internally roll my eyes, but keep a smile on my face. He immediately spits it out, and she starts to complain.
Ugh, what is this? This is boring and flavorless and disgusting.
Oh, it's our dark chocolate. It's the safest for people with allergies to eat.
Well, I've got fancy chocolate, and my son who loves chocolate got something with no flavor. It's like you're punishing him for having allergies. Give him something nicer to try, or I won't buy anything from this company ever again. I spend a lot of money in this company, and you don't want to upset me.
He's screaming and jumping over at our wall of chocolates. Because he's young and can't read, he picks up a bar that contains nuts.
Want this! Want this! Want this! Let him try this.
Miss, I'm not allowed to open packets to let people try chocolate, and also... She cuts me off as I go to explain about the nuts.
If you don't open it, then I will.
She rips the packet out of the boy's hand. He's been screaming the whole time, and this just makes it worse. I panic.
Miss, that has nuts in it! How dare you shout at me? You're just saying that so I don't open it!
She opens the packet. You can literally smell the praline as she does, but she breaks off a large chunk of chocolate and shoves it into the boy's mouth as he screams and cries. The moment he tastes it, he stops screaming and starts happily chomping the chocolate, and she instantly appears to calm down. Her voice changes back to how she was when she came in, if a little more patronizing. See, that wasn't so hard. I'll buy this because he likes it, even though you lied about it having nuts. I have never seen an anaphylactic shock before, and I thought it always happened instantly, so when he didn't swell up straight away, I assumed she had been lying to get a different chocolate. The entitled mother then clips the annoying son into his buggy, and then comes to the till to pay and takes a moment rummaging in her bag to find her purse. I realize the store has gone very quiet, and immediately look at the buggy, thinking he must have fallen asleep. The boy's face is very red and beginning to swell a little. He looks super disoriented and can't make proper sounds as his throat swells. I realize that this is the beginning of an allergic reaction. The entitled mother turns and screams. Thankfully, I work at a shopping mall, so I hit our button that alerts emergency services to the store. In my panic, I just start yelling, Do you have an EpiPen? Do you have an EpiPen? Entitled mother is clearly in shock and just starts making this high-pitched whimpering noise and nods while pointing under the buggy. I stick my head out of our store door and yells for our responders. I'm pretty much in tears at this point. Thankfully, the mall responders arrive and take over. They are first aid trained and get the EpiPen. They also call 999. They administer the medicine and have the annoying son laying flat until an ambulance can arrive. The entitled mother is clutching my arm the whole time. I nearly feel sorry for this woman until I remember that this is her fault. The ambulance arrives and takes the annoying son and the entitled mother away. I called my manager and she let me close the store until my co-worker arrives and I start giving statements to everyone. My company, the mall, the police, who also turned up with the ambulance. I got the rest of the day off and the next day off too. Thankfully, annoying son recovered, so there's a happy ending. And our last story was posted by user James Lee Thunder, titled, Homophobic entitled parents want me banned from school because I'm quote-unquote gay. So, this story happened to me 2 months ago before summer holidays, so I won't remember everything that was said. But before we get started, let's meet the cast. There's me, obviously, entitled kid that I thought I was friends with, entitled parents, headmaster, and some friends. So here is a backstory for you to understand why entitled parent wanted me banned from school. So I was friends with entitled kid for quite a long time, and she was actually nice, or so I thought. A friend of mine outed herself as a lesbian, and not only entitled kid, but most of the school people were totally fine with it. So I trusted entitled kid and outed myself to her as trans and asexual. First, she seemed very supportive and accepting, but then everything changed. Wherever I was around her, she was being homophobic and transphobic. The people I'm friends with now also noticed that and confronted her, but they didn't know that I was trans, so they thought that it was a phase and she would stop. Well, she didn't, and I confronted her, saying that this was rude and that she's hurt my feelings. She then said this wasn't meant to hurt my feelings, because she talked about other transgender people. The next day, she outed me in front of the whole class. I was shocked. But this wasn't the end. I asked her why she did this, and she just said that I'm a insert insult for gay people, and everyone should know about my dirty little secret. Coming to the actual part of the story now. Most of the people at my school were accepting and supportive, but I still didn't forget about Entitled Kid doing this to me, outing me and telling BS about me. Well, she told her mother, who was now seen as a transphobic piece of crap. That day, I called into the headmaster's office. This never happened to me, so I was just like, fuck, what did I just do? Everyone was looking at me and I felt embarrassed. I got into the office and there was Entitled Kid's mother, screaming like the banshee she was. I could not understand her, but she might have said something about, "That's the insert insult for gay people word. I want her banned from school." The headmaster was looking at me. I looked at him, and we probably had the exact same thought. Headmaster then said, "We won't ban any student from this school just because of their gender identity or sexuality."
"But you need to ban her,"
Headmaster then corrected the entitled parent. Him.
He is faking it to get attention and tries to get into the boys' bathroom.
I was just like standing there watching entitled parents screaming transphobic and stupid stuff and getting corrected by the headmaster. That was hilarious. And if he would be faking it, it still wouldn't be up to you to say who can and cannot be the person he wants to be. She then got escorted out and, now it comes, was banned from this place. Entitled Kid was ticked because of it, but who cares? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I'm going to be uploading 2 a day for as long as I can keep up that roster. I know I didn't post much over the last few days, but yeah, I enjoy all your company and comments. Anyways, follow my social media links, they're all down in the description down there. I'm going to be posting all my content on Anchor FM, so you can listen to them as podcasts for 1 hour long at a time. And follow my Instagram, join my Discord channel, follow my Twitter, come talk to me on there. I'll start getting active and everything. And yeah, just throw me a message, comment down below, tell me what you thought of the video, and I'll definitely be sure to reply. And I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Have a good day. Bye.